asks you how many moons Earth has, most of us would immediately answer that Earth has only one moon. However, currently and for the next few hundred years, that is no longer true. As scientists have confirmed that Earth now has two moons. According to calculations, the orbit of the second moon will remain stable for at least the next 300 years. Interestingly, a recent study has shown that Earth's second moon is actually meaning it broke off from the moon. So what is the truth of this story, and what are the size and orbit of the second moon? Let's explore together. On April 27, 2016, while using the Pan-STARRS Asteroid Survey Telescope in Hawaii, scientists discovered a strange object orbiting Earth, named Kamo'alewa. The name originates from Hawaiian, referring to a fragment from a larger object. On April 6, 2019, it was officially named 2016 HO3. Initial observations showed that Kamo'alewa orbits the Sun at a distance of 0.9 to 1.1 astronomical units, Its orbit has an eccentricity of 0.1 and an inclination of 8 degrees relative to the ecliptic plane. Notably, while orbiting the Sun, Kamo'alewa also moves in a circular path around Earth. Although the object lies outside the Hill sphere, meaning beyond Earth's gravitational influence range, the gravitational force from the Sun exerts a stronger pull on it. However, orbital calculations show it has remained stable for many years. And this stability will last for at least the next 300 years. The object is classified by scientists as a natural quasi-satellite of Earth. This is the object's orbit as published by NASA. Paul Chodas, director of NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies, said that because the object orbits our planet but never drifts too far away as both orbit the Sun, they call it a quasi-satellite of Earth. Orbital calculations show the object has been a stable quasi-satellite for nearly a century. And it will continue this pattern as a companion to Earth for many centuries to come. During its journey around the Sun, Kamo'alewa spends half the time closer to the Sun than Earth, meaning this object leads our planet. It also spends half the time farther from Earth's orbit, so it falls behind. Additionally, its orbit is slightly tilted, causing it to oscillate up and down each year. In reality, it is like being caught in a game of leapfrog with Earth for hundreds of years. The size of the object has not been precisely determined. It is estimated to be between 40 and 100 meters in size. If based on the assumed standard albedo of 0.2 for S-type rocky asteroids, with an absolute magnitude of 24.3, its corresponding size is about 41 meters. Recently, on April 19, 2024, a study in the journal Nature Astronomy suggested that the object Kamo'alewa may have been ejected into space when a 1.6 kilometer-sized object struck the Moon. At the Giordano Bruno crater area, a 22 kilometers wide crater on the far side of the Moon. Scientists say the light reflectivity of Kamo'alewa matches weathered lunar rock and soil. And the object's size, age, and orbit all align with the impact that created the Giordano Bruno crater. To gather more evidence, the research team built a computational model of the size and impact speed needed to eject Kamo'alewa from the Moon and create the 22 kilometers wide crater on the surface. The results show this was a collision at a 45-degree angle with a velocity of about 18 kilometers per second. by an asteroid with a diameter between 0.78 and 1.44 kilometers. At that time, the impact would create a crater sized between 10 and 20 kilometers or larger. While impact fragments were ejected at very high speeds, sized between 2.5% and 4.6% of the impacting asteroid's size. All of this aligns well with the hypothesis that Como-Alewa is a fragment ejected after the impact that created the Giordano Bruno crater. When watching up to this point, many of you probably think that the Moon's surface has thousands of impact craters with diameters larger than 10 kilometers. So why do scientists predict that it is the Giordano Bruno crater? They further explain that typically, when objects are ejected into space after a collision, they usually have an average lifespan of about 10 million years, after which they are either pulled in or pushed out of the solar system. Therefore, to create the object Como-Alewa, that collision must have occurred less than 10 million years ago. Among the thousands of sufficiently large craters on the Moon, Giordano Bruno is the youngest crater. In simulation models, they found that when the collision occurred, about 400 objects similar in size to Como-Alewa were ejected into space. If the collision happened only about 1 million years ago instead of 10 million years, it is very likely that there are still 3 objects similar to Como-Alewa existing now. They are still orbiting Earth, it's just that scientists have not yet discovered them. Of course, that is only the prediction of scientists. If they want to know precisely, they need samples from the quasi-satellite asteroid Como-Alewa. As of now, only China is the sole country building a plan to collect samples from Como-Alewa. That is the TIANWEN-2 mission. According to the plan, the TIANWEN-2 spacecraft will be launched by a Long March 3B rocket in May 2025. It will use a solar electric propulsion engine to approach Como-Alewa. Upon reaching the asteroid, it will establish an orbiting trajectory. Then, the spacecraft will land on the asteroid and collect about 100 grams of samples. The spacecraft will use a nail and grab method, along with a touch-and-go operation to collect samples from the asteroid. If successful, this will be the first time scientists use the nail and grab method on an asteroid. OSIRIS-REx mission in Japan. Scientists hope that when they obtain samples from the asteroid Como-Alewa, they will better understand its origin. Currently, although it is only a quasi-satellite object of Earth, with its special orbit around both Earth and the Sun, Como-Alewa is also considered a mini-moon of Earth. So, if anyone asks you how many moons Earth currently has, you can answer that Earth has more than one moon. Of course, they are only mini-moons or asteroids, meteoroids with orbits around Earth. In reality, Earth has only one large natural satellite, which is the Moon. At this point, the video from Part 2B will also take a pause. Wishing you relaxing and informative moments. If you find the video interesting, please support the channel by liking, sharing, and leaving comments below the video. Goodbye and see you in the next videos. Best regards, goodbye.